Hello everyone, my name is Lena and welcome to the testimony of Trixie Glimmer Smith. So it's gonna be a visual novel which kind of refers to Parsnip. If you haven't seen the Parsnip playthrough, I do recommend it to see it on my channel because Parsnip was so disturbing and so weird, so I hope this is gonna have a similar vibe. So without any further ado, let's just dive in and see what it has to offer. My name is Trixie Glimmer Smith. Right, it's 2 weeks till my coursework deadline. Time to start this report on. Blue Hill County cultural exports. Oh my god, oh, so old stuff. 19th, 20th century. I sat and stared at the brief for about 10 minutes. Okay, no more slacking, it's time to get to work. I noticed I just clicked onto a 2-hour video essay about memes on Videocom. Oh, that happens quite often, yeah. Before I had any more time to be distracted, there's a loud knock on my door. I jumped, knocked my cereal over. Milk and chocolate covered sugar flakes split across my generic student accommodation carpet. I love this expression, generic student accommodation carpet. Someone outside yelled, "Trixie Glimmer Smith, open up, we have something to discuss." I recognized the voice. It was Nikita, my course's top student. We didn't talk often, because she's kind of horrible. I slammed the spacebar and quickly opened up the website about sheep. It wasn't really relevant to my work, but I hoped it might look educational enough to make Nikita judge me slightly less. Nikita scared the crap out of me, and I didn't want to keep her waiting, so I ignored the puddle of chocolate milk seeping into my carpet and opened the door. Nikita immediately marched straight into my room without asking, and I ended up back into my desk. "Right, Trixie, you have to do me a favor." "Because what?" Her eyes briefly glanced at the cereal puddle, but quickly locked back onto me like the lasers of a sniper rifle trained on my skull. I instinctively sat back down in my chair and looked up at Nikita. I probably looked pretty subby. It would almost be kind of hot if I wasn't a fucking loser. Oh my god, if I wasn't a fucking loser. "Hi, look Trixie. If I hadn't bailed you out last term by doing your coursework for you, you'd be fucking dead, right? I mean, you'd be living in a bush and in dirt because you don't want to go home to your family and admit you fucked up your education by sleeping through the entire term." Well, that was brutally honest. I mean, that's a little harsh. I'd also been playing video games, writing raunchy fanfiction, and growing breasts. Oh yeah, the growing breast part that usually takes like quite a lot of time. Like, I've been there, done that. It would be nice to get some recognition for that for once. I know it was. But listen, my point is, you owe me big time for literally saving your life. You didn't literally save my life, what the fuck? Whatever. Look, I just want you to find me a play script, it's easy. Oh, is that all? I mean, sure I can do that, I guess you did help me a lot, right? Sorry, it just, you are being really aggressive, so I assumed you were going to make me kill someone or something. Maybe it will be necessary. Tabby maybe, you hate her. Miss Knight is a try-hard bitch, wasting everyone's time by running against me for student president, but I don't need her dead. I need to keep her around to make me look good. Tabby keeps psycho crystals in her bra to prevent lunar interference, which I'm pretty sure isn't even a word. That's a pretty low standard to make you look good. I felt pretty bad saying that. Tabby was really nice, even if she was a little quirky and didn't really notice me. That said, interference definitely isn't a word. Interference. Sorry, I read it wrong. Interference. That's interesting. I'm not very likable, so I need all the help I can get. Anyway, shut up. Your laptop is playing a video called Sheep Falling Over Compilation 6, while your coursework paper is titled, and I quote, Start soon. So are you going to help me, or am I just going to have to never bail you out of one of your fuck-ups again? I glanced at my laptop. EpicSheepFalls.com was an indication, as I thought. Fine. What do you want exactly? More specific than just a play script. Last night I was walking back from the library when I noticed some paper fluttering about. I don't usually make a point of picking stuff up off the floor, but something drew me to it. I picked it up and I realized it contained writing. I read it right there in the courtyard. When I finished reading, I stood in silence for some time. I'd read an excerpt from The King in Yellow. I don't know how it got there, but if I'm certain, But I'm certain if that page was there, then the rest must be nearby. A surviving copy of the infamous cursed play. Do you realize how important it is? Cursed play. I'd heard rumors of the King in Yellow and one of the ghastly writings within. I very much doubted Nikita had found a page lying around at university. Copies were meant to be impossible to get hold of, supposedly all lost, hidden, or burned long ago. Wow, I always assumed that play was kind of a myth. Are you sure it was legit? Maybe just found part of someone's fanfiction. Nikita slammed her fist into my desk with a bang. I know it's real. Sorry. It's okay, you are probably right. Only a real loser would write fanfiction about the King in Yellow. Haha, because Trixie has done that, right? The completed play will be immeasurable importance to my studies. I could write my entire thesis analyzing how it has affected folklore both locally and worldwide. I need the full copy. Now, after the initial shock of finding it set in, I started sneezing. I concluded there must be some kind of allergen on the paper. I happen to be allergic to exactly one thing in the world. Not being a bitch? Shut the fuck up. I'm allergic to daffodils. Daffodil Lane is a few miles from here. I happen to know that the lane has a lot of daffodils. Oh, well, as the name suggests. Hence, the shit name. Given their relative rarity elsewhere in the country, I believe the page may have originated there. I'd rather avoid going there myself. I'm too important to get mildly uncomfortable. I'm too important to get mildly uncomfortable. Besides, I'm busy brainstorming slogans for my Students' Union presidency campaign. Right now I'm thinking knowledge through unity, unity through Nikita. Oh jeez. That doesn't sound really catchy, no? Whatever. As a thank you for me saving your life, you're kindly going to Daffodil Lane and finding the rest of that play for me. Good, thanks. I still wasn't convinced there would be anything to find, but I kind of wanted Nikita to leave my room before she noticed I'd left some of my underwear on the floor. I mean, I hadn't agreed yet, but fine, I'll go. Just stop being so rude to me, it's not a good work relationship. Fantastic, thank you for being so accommodating, Trixie. I'll let you get on with it. I have some books to read. Nikita brushed some dust off her shirt and left without a goodbye. According to my laptop, it was still pretty early. I guess I should get going. I may as well get this over with so Nikita stops bothering me. I found some snacks. I knew I would need them on my quest, errand, whatever this crap was. A 20-pack of cheese ropes. Nice. I fucking love artificial flavorings. I found my phone under an old shirt. Now that it came in much use, it can basically only take calls and receive messages after years of wear and tear. My phone's light flickers unless you constantly shake it like a maraca, so I brought along a torch as well. A torch seemed like one of those things it was good to have when you're looking for things. Interesting, just going to go to Daffodil Lane and get a torch with you. Okay, sure. In retrospect, I should have made sure it had batteries in it before I left. Oh, sure. I crammed everything into my bad bag. Oh, that's the bad bag. Cool. A lot of people accuse me of having a bat fetish because of all my bat products, but it's not true. I just like the bat cartoon Cyber Drag Cool Yachts from Space from a few years ago, but there's no official merchandise for it, and those bats were really cute. Anyway, I got distracted by my laptop for a while, well, like 3 hours, but I got a lot of work done. I mean, the memes won't watch themselves, right? Okay, kinda. So, is that the point-and-click part or something? No. The 2-hour trek through the countryside during the worst heatwave in a century took its toll on me. I'd never been good with summer. I usually just hide inside, so I underestimated how hard it would be out in the sun. It was also about here I realized I had never cleaned up the cereal on my floor. I did eventually reach Daffodil Lane. I took a little rest in some shade and got my bearings. Phew! I hope the weather gets worse soon. I could use some rain to cool me off. I took a look down at the lane from a vantage point. For quaint little cottages dotted the dirt road, and at the far end there was a tree line of Blue Hill woods. I'd been in the woods once before as part of my course. They were old and filled with interesting landmarks. I considered taking a walk in them once I sorted out the play stuff. It was probably cooler under the trees. Oh, Parsnip! Oh my god, here it is! Nice! I still have like this kind of feeling that he's just an old pedophile, not like a young bunny, you know? So if you haven't seen the previous episode, like, yeah, take a look. Hi! Oh! A small, rather eccentric-looking rabbit had appeared behind me while I was distracted. Before I could say anything, he held out a weird yellow string. Since you're such a great friends, I made you a friendship string! The friendship string was about 6 inches of tattered yarn, seemingly dipped in yellow acrylic paint and sprinkled with what appeared to be sugar. It was faintly disturbing on a level I can't communicate, even after everything else that transpired in the following days. I added sugar so you can taste it if you get hungry. I hope you like it, best friend. He seems proud of himself and a bit crazy. I kind of don't want him to kill me. I mean, maybe he's not like a murderer, but oh, let's keep it for now. Confused, I took the string off the rabbit's paw and held it up for a closer look. It looked just as bad as close. I tucked the string away into my bag. Thanks? So who are... Hi! I'm Parsnip, and that's my cottage! Oh my god, so we are here! So that's the daffodil... Oh shit, that's gonna... Oh... Shit is gonna hit the fan soon, I guess. He jabbed a paw on the nearest cottage, the one with a well-kept daffodil patch in front of it. A small sign with "My Cottage" written stood on the path next to it, clearly marking the cottage as someone's cottage. Oh, hi Parsnip, my name's Trixie. I'm looking for a book that might be around here. Have you heard of The King in Yellow? Wow, I love yellow! Oh wow, it's my favorite color! Okay, well, it's good that you like yellow. The book though, do you know it? I don't read books, they are so boring. I'm Parsnip, and I'm a fun bun. Want to come play with me? No, definitely not. No, I definitely don't, sorry. I have to find a play for my friend, remember? And I'm super busy with my coursework, so... Wow, that sounds really exciting. You're like a detective. Oh, I mean, it's more an indebted servitude thing, like I don't really care. Wow, cool, that's amazing. Before I could begin to formulate a response to Parsnip, the sound of a cuckoo clock blurred from inside his cottage. It was loud, even from a good 50 feet away. Uh-oh, it's time for trumpet practice. I'll talk to you later, new friend. He merely skipped off to his cottage. What the hell? Okay, bye. I crossed Parsnip off my list for potential owners of a forbidden play. He didn't seem like someone who would own anything that required reading. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he had the book, but used the paper to, I don't know, insulate windows or something, you know? I started to walk down the lane, past out of the tune trumpeting blasting from Parsnip's cottage. I'm not convinced he even had the trumpet the right way around. Oh. I figured I'd try the next cottage. It didn't look as well kept as Parsnip's, but I could see some art easels set up in the garden which piqued my interest. An artsy person might have a copy of an evil play just to make a statement. Hey, cool, an artist. I can relate to them. I drew a picture once. Oh, nice. Drew a picture once, so I'm an artist too. I approached the cottage and caught sight of a rabbit lounging in deck chairs, smoking and drinking wine. Classy. She was tall, stylish and pretty. I was pretty hyped to meet what I assumed must be a famous artist. Either she didn't see me or chose to ignore me. I noticed her cigarette wasn't even lit. Hi? I waved nervously. I wasn't used to talking to professional artists who were probably rich. Well, the cottage, it doesn't look like belongs to someone rich, and the bottle of wine here, it's so badly drawn, it must be like a cheap wine or something. She lowered her sunglasses down slightly to look at me before pushing them back up. Hello? I trailed off. My head felt light from the heat. I swayed side to side, starting to regret not bringing a drink. But you took the cheese snacks! Sorry, I don't have any water with me, so I'm a little out of it. Anyway, I just walked down from university and I'm looking... Wait, you walked all the way here from the university without any water? In this heat? I remember letting out a quiet yes and collapsing, but not much else until I woke up a few minutes later. The rabbit's face was looking down at me from her deck chair. She looked mildly concerned, but apparently not enough to move me from being face down in the dirt. You fainted. Are you okay? Think so. Could I maybe have some water? I brought some out for you already. She motioned towards a glass of wine. Oh, okay. On the ground beside me, that's wine. The rabbit went wide-eyed under her glasses. Oh, so it is. How did that get there? She picked up the wine and shuffled shamefully into her cottage, returning a few moments later with some tap water. Thanks. I downed the water and felt a little better. I was pretty stupid of me not to bring any with me. I realized I had introduced myself and thought I'd better do it before it came too awkward. Hi. Hello. I didn't do a great job of it. I'm Trixie. Le Rose. And that awkward silence. There was a frosty silence. So, sorry to bother you. Just I'm doing someone a favor. They think there's a copy of some old playbook around here. The King in Yellow. I can't say I've heard of it. Are you sure your friend didn't say Daffodil Library? You know, the one in town? I briefly worried she had. No, I'm pretty certain it's Daffodil Lane. I don't know where it could be though. I asked, Parsnip, next door. The Rose seemed to grimace at the mention of Parsnip. You spoke to Parsnip. Are you sure? You look like you still have the will to live. I didn't, but that was unrelated. I mean, yeah, a bit. Is he that bad? I mean, he's a little excitable for sure, but the Rose's blood pressure looked like it was rising rapidly. Got back on topic. I decided it was best to change the subject. Anyway, sorry, the book, you haven't seen it. She shook her head. I didn't get out much though. If it's around here, I probably wouldn't see it. I didn't even realize my neighbors were missing until the police came knocking. Oh jeez. The squirrels, yeah. Oh, the squirrels. The parents of the squirrel who went on vacation, right? Again, the reference to the previous part. Didn't it turn out they just went on a cruise on the Pacific Islands because they're rich and got bored? It was on the news for ages. No. I accidentally started the rumor that they just ran off to go on a cruise during the school term. Probably true, they were rich. Rich people do that stuff, right? I didn't know she was expecting an answer. Look, I was brainstorming, okay? It's not my fault the police just took that as a fact that ended the investigation immediately. I'm sure they are all fine. The police just dumped all the evidence they collected outside and left. Right? All cops are monsters. Oh yeah, because there was like ACAM, right? Instead of like ACAB, right? ACAM. All cops are messy. Point is, you could go poke around in the boxes if you want. They won't care. Maybe you'll find your book. Yeah, maybe. Well, let's ask a bit more. Is there anywhere else around here an old playbook might be hiding? There's the woods. They're pretty big. There's bound to be at least one book in there. She faked a big blow of smoke from her cigarette. Though I'd avoid them if I were you. They are dark, nasty, and no one lives there anyway. Well, I mean, there's a beehive, but there are a bunch of authoritarian jackasses, so they don't really count. I tried to go paint there once, and they got pissy with me, the swarm of fake socialists and mini dictators. There's not a whole lot of the road either besides a sheep field and some fucked up magpie. No, this place is kind of boring. That's why I moved here, to get some space. It didn't work. Cyberbot Wildstar always used to say, space is where you make it. Right. Does it actually... No, not really. It's from some cartoon. So, wait, where did you used to live before you moved out here, I mean? Town. I teach there. Oh, you're one of the art history lecturers at the uni? Do you teach the Blue Hill art history classes in the second year of regional history and culture studies? I did, of course. I'm sure I might have seen you around. I teach preschoolers how to use glitter pens. Oh. Anger seemed to burn under her surface. I was worried her wine bottle would shatter in vice-like grip. They don't appreciate my art. I decided to run away before I said anything else stupid. Well, anyway, sorry to bother you. I'll go take a look at those evidence boxes. Have fun. She went straight back to staring off into the distance. I let her get on with it and headed over to a neighboring cottage. LaRose was right. The police had left some investigation unfinished and just ditched the evidence into a couple of boxes. Fortunately, the summer had been a dry one and everything seemed to be in good condition. I peered through one of the cottage's windows. It was definitely deserted. It was probably a pretty nice place when it was looked after. I could see the occasional bit of half-eaten food laying around on the floor, making a mess of the otherwise cozy middle-class countryside retreat. I started sorting through the box labeled Kitchen 1. Most of it seemed to be like old bits of snack packaging and half-eaten food. Gross. Fortunately, most of it was so artificial it wasn't incapable of molding. Interestingly, a DVD copy of Jenny Jason Archer Training Time for the Game Machine 100 also had a large bite taken out of it, and the toaster seemed to have lick marks on the grill. An entire box of sugar acorns seemed to have been emptied into the box, coating everything with a thin layer of nutritional dust. Someone had been very hungry. The next box, Kitchen 2, only had a couple of gas canisters inside. I guess they were for the cottage's stove. I don't think Daffodil Lane has much in the way of actual infrastructure. The last box, labeled Kids Room, contained the only real interesting stuff. My eyes went straight towards the small games console and selection of video games. I spotted one of my favorites, Gun Attack 2. Oh hey, this kid is one of those little fuckers who always screamed abuse at me when I tried to play that online. Actually, I probably shouldn't refer to a possibly missing kid as a little fucker. That feels a little wrong. There are more sweet wrappers. Though the kid had clearly diversified their diet by eating crisps on special occasions. This kid doesn't seem the type to collect all play scripts. I doubt they would be in here. In fact, I don't think there's a single word in this box that isn't a brand name. As I said this, I realized I was wrong. There were some very obvious words in the box, and I don't know how I missed them before. On a small paper booklet, scrolled and folded, felt deep writing had, "There's a monster near the woods." Underneath, there was a crude scribble, vaguely resembling a crouching figure with a woolly, thick body and 4 eyes, some kind of imaginary monster. Or maybe a wool-sitter, I thought. Oh shit, that's ominous. The handwriting was childlike and shaky. It couldn't have been more than a month old. It was probably written as a part of some silly game, I thought, but that didn't stop me from filling with dread. What was the monster? I realized the message was written on the front of a small scrap paper booklet. It looked like it had been written and illustrated by the kid. Squirrel Warrior Princess Adventure. Squirrel Warrior Princess was an adventure to save the Squirrel Princess Dragon. She went through the hills, and there was a monster shaped like a woolly person. Squirrel Warrior Princess shot him with bow and arrows and won. "That is what you get if you are my enemy," said Squirrel Warrior Princess, said Squirrel. She drove her car, big car, fast and reached Castle Grimskull. "I am here to save your Squirrel Princess Dragon," said Squirrel Warrior Princess. She went through the castle and used her gun to shoot the bad enemies, and she went up the castle. "No one can defeat me, and I am the strongest warrior," I said. A skeleton popped up at the Squirrel Warrior Princess, punched it, and fell down and cried out and laughed at it. "That was really brave. Thank you for saving me," said Squirrel Princess Dragon. She flapped her dragon wings. She has dragon wings and can breathe fire, but she's a squirrel. Oh, they played video games together, one single player of Medallion of Honor at the end. Inspiring. I decided it was best to leave before I felt much more combinating DNA on everything. I felt pretty sure I wasn't going to find the play amongst the junk and wasn't breaking into what was technically still a crime scene on Nikita's behalf, so I headed down the lane to the last cottage. Okay, and I think this is where we're gonna pause for a while. So thank you for watching. That's just the beginning of the game, and you already have seen Parsnip, you already have met LaRose, so I'm guessing we're gonna meet the other characters soon enough. And thank you for watching. If you're interested in seeing how it ends up and if we find the King in Yellow, please wait for the next video. Take care, bye bye.